Hi, I'm Bianca Tarrant, co-founder of Our Cow, and welcome back to Paddock Talk. If you've been following along, you'll know our story started in a shed with no running water and a dream to change how Aussies buy meat. We shared how we grew through floods, fires, and flat-out chaos, and why we kept going when most would have walked away. In this episode, we're diving into what happened after our second crowdfunding raise, when we went big, really big. Same-day delivery in every capital city, over 1,500 farm fresh products, our plan to become the full online farmers market. It was ambitious, it was bold, and it nearly broke us. This is the story of how our biggest vision collided with reality of growing fast and what we learnt when it all started to unravel. Welcome to the podcast, David.
Oh, thanks, Bianca. Thanks for having me again. I'm glad you got me back.
Yeah, you're back for another episode. This is episode 3. So we've spoken a little bit about the upcoming of Our Cow. We spoke about our first crowdfunding raise. We've gone into Cowtown, took that big risk, launched the exclusive Eaters Club. And now today I want to talk about the second crowdfund because we did a second round of crowdfunding and the vision that we had for the business, like where we were about to take the business, the dreams that we had and what that actually looked like in reality. Because it's good to have these dreams and these ambitions and goals, but, you know, reality panned out a little bit differently, didn't it?
Yeah. So how did it go for you? What happened?
Okay, so we did the second round of crowdfunding and I can't remember the exact number. How much money did we raise in round 2?
It was about $2 million.
So $2 million in round 2. We brought on a whole bunch more farmers, customers, followers, just supporters that wanted to get behind our business, which was fantastic. But the vision that we pitched to everybody was we were going to have same-day distribution in every capital city. So same-day delivery, you could order on our app, have your steak delivered within an hour to your door, and we were going to be the ultimate online farmers market. That was our pitch. We wanted to have over 1,500 products in our range, all coming direct from Aussie farmers. So everything from dairy to macadamia nuts to coffee to olive oil to, you know, different rubs, cherries, like fresh produce, the whole lot, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we embarked on that journey. We leased a warehouse in Sydney and started to set that up. So it was kind of like a divide and conquer. We decided that you were going to set up the Sydney warehouse, you were going to go down there and set all of that up, and I was going to continue to run the casino operations. Yeah. So tell me what you remember.
Well, I remember me and my mate Caitlin, me right-hand man. So she's pregnant at this point, right? So we decided that this is the vision that we're going to go down. We had some we had a guy that came into the business at that point as well. And, you know, we had this vision together that we were going to conquer the world and become like Amazon Fresh in Australia. And I'll just start off by saying I think this vision would have worked if we had $100 million in capital behind us, because I think that definitely there is a need for it, but just the cash to fund these things is monumental to try and get something like this off the ground. So anyway, had me right hand man. She's pregnant. We're setting up this new warehouse in Sydney. We're flying back and forward from like Ballina to Sydney. Got a lease sorted, so we leased like a 1,800 square meter space, like cold rooms, freezer space, like huge facility, right? So got down into Sydney and me and Caitlin are going back and forward. We're like staying in an Airbnb down there like multiple times a week. And then, so we started slowly we recruited a manager for the facility, like had a really good guy down there to start managing this facility, started setting up some processes and some, like just some systems around what we were going to do. And then obviously Bianca's still in casino running the operations of the production and the production facility of like producing all of the meat. We're still punching out orders. So this is like, the business is still growing at this point as well. And then, so I remember the day that we were going to launch in Sydney, we over the weekend, all of our casino staff, we had this plan of like, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to get all of our meat down here. We need to have all of our label machines and all of our, printers set up so we can print out barcodes and pallet labels and all this sort of stuff down in Sydney. So got all that sort of, it just seemed like there was a lot of stuff that needed to happen. Like
we were changing
granular.
Every aspect of our business. So we started the warehouse. We employed like 30 staff down there. We brought on, with this extra capital, we brought in a whole executive team. We had procurement people. We brought on 2 app developers, a CTO, a back-end developer, a front-end developer. There was 2 people in procurement.
Our team just
like
exploded.
It just overnight, it was like boom. There was like 100 extra people in our business, and then the end of the story is it didn't work, but there was a fair bit of pain to get us to that point. Like we were still delivering fresh as well, so everything was being delivered fresh, and the fresh inventory management it's a hell of a thing to manage, and going down there and seeing things that were supposed to be in freezers and not in freezers, and the stock control was really difficult. Like we changed our whole website. We brought on a full IT team. So we were changing who our website provider was. We were building all of that out ourselves. Like every single aspect of the business was like changed. Yeah. So it was like we changed everything in the matter of like 3 months. And it wasn't working. Like you were down there running Sydney, and I just have these vivid memories of being back in casino and all of the meat being sent back to casino that was like going out of date because it wasn't being rotated properly in Sydney. Like the staff didn't really understand how to manage fresh meat products. It's something like it's short shelf life. They don't have a lot of you don't have a lot of time. It's not like you've got a t-shirt on a shelf that it can sit there for
it needs to be like turned over straight away. So stock management is like super critical, especially like chicken and seafood and things like that as well. So it definitely needs to be turned over really quickly. And the staff that we had, some of these guys, English was their second language, and I'm trying to teach them about like stock rotation and food safety and things like this as well, and our team down there. So, and then the executive team that came on board at that time, they were learning the business. So they were learning around how the finances worked and how the marketing worked and how the technology worked in the business. So there was a lot of change all at once. The orders were continuing to grow as well, which was great, and the sales continue to grow. But I think that what we failed at was delivering our customers a great experience with us, because some customers were getting product that was out of date, and like things like this were happening.
New courier companies. So with the same day delivery, we brought on all these we were pretty much using like the Ubers of the world to do the delivery. And what we found out was our customers didn't really want a delivery right now. We thought
it wasn't an impulse buy.
It wasn't like buying from our cow. We thought that people, they've forgotten to take something out for dinner. They would want to buy like a steak late at night or whatever. But like our customers are that organized, and our cow is not an impulse buy, is it? Like,
oh, I hope that they're organized.
They are organized because they're doing their whole grocery shop for 2 weeks in advance. They're buying all their meat in advance, and they didn't care about it turning up within 30 minutes of placing their order. We found out that they just wanted it to turn up on the day that they've selected. So if they want it to come on Tuesday, it's going to come on this Tuesday every month. So,
the stock, some of the stuff, like we didn't dispatch it in time. We'd find stock that was going out of date, and then we'd have to send it back to casino. And then I remember Bianca just sending me photos of skip bins full of meat, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of meat that we'd already processed, we'd already put into packages, we've already had a label on it. So we'd paid the farmer, we'd paid all the labor costs of our business, and then we were just throwing it into skip bins and it was going to waste at that time. So it was definitely it was the most challenging time that I've ever had in my life. I think emotionally for me, seeing something like that you'd put every cent, every ounce of your soul into to try and make work, it was sort of 6 months of just absolutely on the limiter.
And our staff went down there too. We took down probably 15 staff from casino. So we hand picked out guys that we knew that like
would work,
like, and that bleed green. Like we always say, our staff bleed green for our cow, and we knew that they would go down there, and we told them the vision, and they were 100% behind us. Like they were away from their family, they were sleeping in hotel rooms, they were working 15-hour days to try and get this thing off the ground.
Yeah.
And there was a turning point when I remember you came back to casino. Actually, I think you were still in Sydney, and we were having a bit of a meeting online, and our CFO was like, guys, this is bad time. We need to do something about this, like really, really quickly. Otherwise the ship is sinking. Like it was taking us down.
Yeah.
And it was hard to make that decision because we'd sold this vision to all of the investors. We'd sold this vision to our staff, to ourselves. Like we didn't want it. It was all on social media. Like there was a lot of media about what we were doing. We'd also acquired Volley at the time as well. So Volley was a same day delivery service in Sydney.
That went broke.
That also went broke. So we acquired them, and like I guess the writing was on the wall.
Yeah,
of
it
what
was
going on.
And like definitely like we all believed in the vision at the time. There was a couple of people, like some of our advisors, that said that, it wasn't going to work because of the amount of investment that it was going to take. But we thought that we were going to be able to crack through that wall. And I think as an entrepreneur, you have this, like this unrivaled optimism of like things that can just work out in your favor when there's so much adversity in front of you. And I think like sometimes you just need to come to the realization of, fuck, I've made a mistake and this is not going to work. And I think
the red flags, like sometimes you think the red flag, like you see these red flags popping up and you're like, no, I'm just going to push through and it's just a challenge and I've got to be adverse. But
at some point you have to make the call to go, there's been so many red flags. Like I think there's a difference between optimism and like stupidity as well, pushing through something that is completely not going to work. So there was a point when we had that meeting with our CFO and, we come to the realization that this whole vision was not going to play out the way that we expected it to. And, like at this point, we were burning through so much money. Like we were burning through like monumental amounts of money. I think like if we put $100 bills on a fire heap and lit it on fire, we wouldn't have been able to burn as much money that quickly as what we were doing at that time. So we just had to like take our whole ego and everything out of it, like I did particularly because, it was the thing that I'd spent so much time in trying to get set up and, get right. And then take the ego out of it to realize that, hey, this has not worked and what you've done is not the right thing. And then stop and completely bring back to our operation and try and stabilize our business before we had to shut the doors.
So tell me about that day. So we'd had the conversation with Nick, our CFO, and it was top secret.
I think that was on the Tuesday or the Wednesday. And we basically had to it was highly confidential. So then we had to, so that was on the Wednesday maybe, and then my birthday was on the Friday, and we'd had to make the call that the Friday was going to be the last day in Sydney. Otherwise, we basically had to confidentially get a group of our staff together. I think I flew back to casino on the Thursday to tell all of our management team in casino.
That was probably one of the hardest things is like we got all of our management staff together in casino, and the guys that had been down to Sydney and they'd been there helping us set it up. And like these guys they've been in the business for a long time. They'd seen it grow from when it was 4 of us to 40 of us. They'd been through the whole lot with us, and we sat down in the smoko room and we were, I have to say the most vulnerable that I've ever been in my life with those guys. And there was so many tears, and that it's hard to even talk about it now because we explained to them that we'd fucked up, like we'd done the wrong thing by them and we'd done the wrong thing by us and by our investors, and we needed to shut Sydney down and come home.
Yeah,
like we had to come home to casino. We had to shut the doors in Sydney, and we needed their help to do it.
So that was
we couldn't do it on our own. So we had to finish picking the orders down there in Sydney on the Friday.
So that meeting occurred on the Thursday. I flew back to Sydney Friday morning or Thursday night, I think it was, to be picking orders in Sydney on the Friday. I had to tell the manager of that facility that morning that today was going to be the last day, but we still had to get our orders out. And then, so this is my birthday. So like the Friday's my birthday, Bianca rings up and Caitlin says, "Oh, happy birthday." And then unfortunately had to shut a whole facility down and terminate 40 staff that day. And then we had to bring in our casino crew. They drove our truck and we had multiple semi-trailers come down that night, and we moved 150 tonne of meat back to casino over that weekend to be picking orders back to start again, fully functional in the business again, back in casino on Monday morning. So that was a challenge in itself, to not miss one single order for a customer. And obviously the turmoil of, terminating a whole workforce
and trying to save the business. Like we were in like, we were back to that break even or else mode. So we had to do like things in the business to try and just cut as much as we could so that the ship didn't sink. Like it was like the Titanic going down. It was it was really scary. Yeah. But our team backed us. They came down there. They helped us. They were 100% behind me and Dave. And I think that's been like, that's the great thing about our team, man, is like they've always been behind us no matter what.
Yeah, so 100%.
Now, okay, so we'd shut the factory. We'd come home. The next thing that we had to obviously stabilize the business and get back to some sort of, and that didn't take 5 minutes.
No, it was like a 6 months process.
I think it was longer than that. Like, you think about even 12 months down, and we even talk about still now, like, oh, this is what happened. Like everyone's still a little bit scarred from what happened in Sydney. But
even after 2.5 years later, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And so there's two things I want to talk about here. The telling our customers what happened and what you and I actually had to do to let go of that trauma in our life. So we had to tell our investors and we had to tell our customers the decision that we'd made, and we put it off for a long time. Like we were so embarrassed about this failure that we'd had, and we didn't want people to find out, because like in the early days of setting all this up, like I'm on social media and I'm doing videos and we're so excited, we're building all this hype and like it's going to be amazing, and then it all goes to shit and you're trying to like still have a brave face, but you just feel so much shame. Yeah. But
this is business, right? This is a part of going through the failure process, and we've been through it multiple times now, and I think like anybody that is in business, they know what the emotional roller coaster that you go through as a person on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. So, we had to continue to learn this and go through this, but being, we work with our business coach, and, his advice
advised us to
just be vulnerable and be open to our customers, because a lot of them have had a bad experience because of that, because of that time in Sydney. And then obviously, our investors as well, we're basically vulnerable to a lot of people that backed us at that point. So, we had a pretty significant drop off in customers at that point as well. So we had to, rebuild that at that point. So
we wrote a letter. Yeah. We wrote a very, very vulnerable and open letter to our customer base and to our investors, and told them what had happened. And again, like the support of people, like they were like, we have so much more respect for you guys for realizing that you fucked up, but you've done something about it. Like you just haven't let it pull you down. And, like
a lot of people would have just thrown their hands in the air and said, oh, well, the ship's going down.
We're out.
Where it is what it is, because sometimes, business owners they have too much ego about them to make that call, to make a decision to go, hey, we made mistakes, now we've got to change it. But I think it's about owning your mistakes and being accountable for the things that you do that are wrong, and learning from them. So that was the biggest takeaway that I took out of that whole episode.
And that's our number one core value in this business, is being accountable.
Yeah.
Is like,
I think the last thing that I just want to touch on, and we're 2.5 years down the track where things are going great at our cow again, and, certainly stabilised, profitable business, and took a lot of stress and pressure out of that situation. But the thing that I learned as a founder is the things that you have to do that are out of the like normal everyday things that you go through as just a person, right? So like, the meditation that we took on, like I grew up in the bush. I'm a farmer. I consider myself like a bit of a like rough and tumble type bloke, but the meditation and the amount of like stress and pressure that, you're under, the things that you have to do that's out of the ordinary, isn't it, Bianca? The amount of things like the therapy sessions that we had to go through to try and
just release that.
Release the emotions that get trapped in your body because of these traumas.
Yeah, I think like if you hang on to that, like it is a trauma. Like if you hang on to that trauma, it like hinders your ability to make decisions moving forward.
Yep.
So like we needed to be able to go, yep, this was really bad and it like nearly killed us, but we saved it, we've moved on and we're going to move forward.
Yep.
But we needed like a clear mindset to be able to continue to make like decisions and the right decisions and not be like living in this state of fear forever. So we went and seen like our business coach and we seen like a mindset coach and a like we did lots of things to try and just release ourselves of all of that negativity and to be able to make decisions and make the right decisions moving forwards. And like you say, it's things that like normal people probably like just wouldn't even comprehend doing. Like, what does our morning routine look like now in this business every day?
Yeah, so we obviously start off with meditation. We exercise every morning. Like we spend a lot of time working on ourselves, because if we're not working on ourselves as leaders and people that are, in control of a company and in control of other people's livelihoods, like we're never going to get better at that as well. So we spend a lot of time working on ourselves, don't we, before we actually get to work and start our day.
Yeah. I often hear like the business is as good as the founders. So like we have to make sure that we're showing up the best version of ourselves and the best version for ourselves, for our team and for everybody that relies on us. But, people often ask like, what's been your biggest mistake in business? And I think about
a shitload of them.
I think about that. But then I also think like, is it a mistake? Like, is it ever a mistake or is it just a lesson? Like, is it just a lesson? Because if you're not, if like we think about a little kid falling off a bike, like how many times do they fall off the bike but they get back on it every single time and they wouldn't know how to ride the bike if they didn't fall off.
Yeah.
So you have to make these, little mistakes and these things, but you learn if you make the same mistake twice and you don't learn from it, I think like that's stupidity.
Yeah.
Like, we've made mistakes, we've learned from them, and we've continued to grow the business forward, which has been the main thing.
Yeah.
So I guess you could come out of a situation like that and think like, let's just go back to casino. We're going to just keep our little business humble, keep it small. But that was never
the vision.
Never the vision for us. And it's like we're two people that are never satisfied with just like doing the same thing every day. So like the growth plans have still been really big at Our Cow. And since then we've continued to grow and do different things, but I don't think it's like inhibited our ability to think big, but it's changed how we do it. Like the things
I think even from that point, we still have like tripled the business again. And then, we still have some really big growth ambition plans, because ultimately we want to bring more farmers onto our network and we want to have more people, connected with the farming community and eating healthy. So that's obviously our number one vision. And we want to keep pushing forward with that, don't we?
Yeah. And I think like the decisions and the growth plans that we make now are much more calculated.
Yeah.
Like we have a lot of people around us that help us make the right decisions now, and we do things a lot more thought about. Like I guess if we make a wrong mistake now, it's not just small like it used to be. Like there's millions of dollars on the line. Yeah. So like mistakes can be expensive. So we limit the mistakes and we make sure we're taking really calculated steps to continue to grow our business. But so that was like 23, probably a little bit into 24. Like what have the last 12 months been like for you, David, in the business?
Well, I think just like I said before, learning to become a better leader for our team, and obviously, learning to be a better version of myself. I think just we spent we spent a bit of time in America and the US last year, and we learnt from one of the guys that he's like, he does what we do in America, but he's like the biggest operator in that. It's nearly $1 billion business that he runs. And we spent a lot of time with him last year just learning about, you know, how we can take our cow to the next step in Australia and really help more farmers, you know, get a stable price for their produce. So I'm really, really happy with that. And it's been a great 12 months, really. I think just enabling ourselves to be able to enjoy the journey a lot more as well, instead of just trying to get to this end point of, you know, like it's just over that horizon. It's just over the horizon. I think, you know, I've enjoyed the journey a lot more. I've been racing motorbikes again for the first time in like 15 years. I've actually got a hobby again. I'm starting to think a little bit about things outside of our cow, and trying to have some downtime away from the business as well, because this whole thing does completely consume you every single day. So it's been great for me and my mindset as well.
I just touch on what you said, like so many people get caught up in the end when you run a business. Like, we just have to get to this point, and then, you know, we're going to get over there, and there's going to be like the end of the where you're trying to get to. And so many people forget to actually enjoy the journey of what you're doing. And I reckon it's only probably been in the last 12 months that we've actually gone and really tried to enjoy every day, and not just be like pushing for the next thing, and like celebrating the wins that we take. Like, not a lot of people do that, is actually stop and think about, like, this is actually really fucking cool. Like, the life that we live is what we've always dreamed about. And you take that for advantage, like, you know, you take it for advantage, don't you? Like, you take it for granted, I think, and not just enjoying that journey is really important as well. Like, it's not what we've been saying lately is it's not a sprint. Like, business is not a sprint. It's a marathon. Like, you're in it for the long haul. You're in it to see it succeed and to see it through. And you have to be like physically fit to be able to withstand a marathon, not just a, you know, 500-meter sprint.
Yeah. And the other thing that I take back to before we'd even started our cow, being in a victim mindset around what was going on our farm and with the weather situations and being in drought, you know, I started to get back into that mindset when all things were falling apart in our cow. And I believe that, you know, over the last sort of 12 to 18 months, I've changed my mindset to think that, you know, everything that we've done is our own choice. It's our own decision. Like, no one has forced us to be in this spot. So even though there's things that haven't worked out, or there's been terrible stresses and that you've had to deal with, like, it's our own decision and it's our own choice. So, like, getting back in that empowerment of that whole journey has been a real
one thing that we
me.
Say now is, like, no one's holding a gun to your head.
No.
Like, we don't have to make this decision right now. You know, we can wait, or we don't have to do it today. Like, you know, we take things a little bit more slow, which is, it's nice.
That's about where we are.
Yeah, so that's probably like the story of our cow. 3 episodes we got through there.
Sorry it took so long to explain.
I think it's been good. Like, there's definitely things that we've spoken about over the last 3 episodes that we can dive deeper into, and they'll probably come at a later date. But, you know, at the end of every episode, we always wrap up with a recipe.
Oh, okay. What's the recipe today?
I have another recipe that came from my ma.
Okay.
So we spoke about ma last week, her plum jam casserole. When I was a kid, Ma used to make us torpedoes.
Oh, I love torpedoes.
I don't know why she called them torpedoes, but they were just called torpedoes. So it was basically like a hot dog bun that was cut lengthwise, and all the bread was scraped out. So it was just like the shell of the bun. And you would cook this is such a simple recipe. Like I said the other day, like, these older women, they used ingredients that they had in their cupboard. They didn't go and buy stupid shit. So you'd have your half a kilo of beef mince, gravy powder, beef stock, Worcestershire sauce. I think that's it, to be honest. There wasn't much more in it. You'd cook it all up, maybe a little bit of water, a little bit of stock.
Bit of onion.
Yeah. So you'd like cook up the mince, and then you'd save the bread. So you got your whole packet of hot dog buns that you'd scraped all the bread out of. You break it up into like just big chunky breadcrumbs, and you put the breadcrumbs into the mince and then mix it all up. And then you take that mince mixture and fill the open hot dog buns with the mince.
Yeah.
And you'd put you'd actually slice tomatoes, a couple of sliced tomatoes on top of the mince, and a bit of grated cheese. And then under the grill or in the oven for 5 minutes, just enough to melt the cheese, and then a little sprinkle of parsley on top.
Yeah.
And they were
so good. Such a quick little meal.
And the kids loved them because they were like finger food. They could pick them up and eat them. They're easy to cook, don't take very long, not a lot of ingredients, just a really simple, basic, delicious, old-timey recipe. And I love it.
Yeah. Love the torpedoes. Thanks, Ma.
Thanks, Ma. Thanks for listening to episode 3 of Paddock Talk. Every growing business hits that moment where the dreams get tested, and this was ours. We didn't get it right, but we learned, we adapted, and we kept going. Not just for us, but for every farmer and every family that believed in what we were building. Our producers are at the very heart of our cow, and in the next episode, we're going to start to introduce you to some of them and some of our team members, and we've got some really cool episodes upcoming. In the meantime, if you're enjoying the show, share it with someone who loves behind the scenes just as much as a good hearty recipe. See you next time.
See ya.